Oh, we're in here. What's up, everybody? How we doing? Uh, 2 times in one day. What are the chances of that happening? We're going to give people a little bit of time to get in here, and then we're going to jump into a little bit of a breakdown, like it says in the description here, about what's going down with this protest happening tomorrow. So if you guys would, please share the stream out on all of the channels that you're on right now, YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch. If you're on Periscope, i.e. Twitter, share that out as well. I think what we're going to see today, what I'm going to show you guys, what I'm going to try to break down in my best version of what's happening, is kind of a little bit more comprehensive look at what happened just a little bit ago, and what hopefully will detour things from going that same route tomorrow. So if you would please, like I said, share the stream out, and we'll get things cracking. I'm going to give people a little bit of time, play a little intro. I don't even know. I'm going to click this button here real quick. Nah, we're not even doing that. So let me get into the comments here. Boom, there we go. All right, I just want to make sure the sound is good. You guys can hear me okay, see me all right. Hopefully everything's looking smooth. Casey Cook says, nope. No. Nope, no. Are you frozen? It's been a while. Can you guys see me okay? Here, let me pull me up on my own feed. And you guys know we got to run through these little Q&As every once in a while just to make sure we're doing okay. So let's check things out and see where we're at. Check things out. No, we're doing fine. So, see where we're at. All right, you guys need to go ahead and maybe reset on your end. I'm not sure. Do a refresh, whatever. Okay, so we're going to jump right into things here. There's a place in California here, down in Los Angeles, called WiSpa. Now, a lot of people were confused, and they thought it was an acronym for We Sparkle, and I don't know how that started. That's not what it is. Just to be very clear, WiSpa is an actual location. What that location caters to is a day spa, mind you. Okay, now the thing about this day spa to keep in mind is it caters to both male, female, and whatever else is going on there. And by that I mean people in the transgender community. And I need to be very clear about what I'm going to be showing you guys today. Okay, so now the video that I have right now is kind of a breakdown. I would call it a forensic almost breakdown of what happened last week or a couple weeks ago during the protest of what happened here at this WiSpa location. There was a couple stabbings, a couple people were attacked, including members of the press, pretty violently attacked actually, which is, for me personally, it's concerning, because when you're out there just looking to cover a story, or even take away the journalistic aspect, if you're just bystanding with the camera and you get attacked, that everybody should be worried about that. And that being said, I'm going to let you guys take a look at what sparked this thing off. Then I'm going to talk a little bit about why this is important and what the deal is with this and why this is even taking shape. And some of like the kind of the deeper, like the darker side or the underbelly of what might really be happening, based off of some of the breakdowns that people have done. Now, I've looked into it myself. I've watched a bunch of videos on this. And there were other people that were there that were involved. There was people that are very far, people that are right-leaning streamers that were there, people that have been referred to as being, left-leaning streamers, just people that were there recording. You know what I mean? They were just filming. There was photographers. There was people that were out there. One thing you didn't see was mainstream media, which we guys all know is the world we exist in, right? Like, we try to avoid mainstream media for most of what we do because they never really want to give you the true story, right? So I encourage, along with, I would hope, everyone else in the stream world, everyone here, to source your information from as many places as possible. Definitely, I would appreciate coming here for what information I can provide. And trust me, I have more questions than I have answers, but hopefully when I'm doing what I do, I can give you a breakdown as it happens for you to kind of be more involved with the news as it happens. That being said, there were people out there that are trying to do the same thing that were also attacked. There was what I'm going to refer to as the left and the right, or the protesters, counter protesters. Now, what happened here is it started off as a protest uh, scheduled by people who were protesting against this establishment, WiSpa. Okay. Now, I need you to remember that the WiSpa is a location. All right. This situation was met by counter protesters. Now, what we've seen too often is generalizations of these groups, right? So, this protest, to be clear, as it worked out, was not against people that are transgender. Okay, and I know that a lot of people thought that's what it was, but that was the easiest way to title this particular protest. Now, they weren't protesting against transgender individuals. Well, some people in that group might have been, and I'm sure they were. But again, in any group, you're going to find individual views on what you're there to do. Now, people from the other side of the world came in, and they were like, no, they're pro-transgender, pro-LGBTQ, and as customarily as it is now, you see them in kind of black bloc, right? A lot of people just assume that's Antifa. Now, Antifa definitely was there, only because you can tell because there was an Antifa, flag being waved. But that wasn't the only group there. Now, the people on the right were not all Proud Boys, patriots. There's no one static group of people like they're out here clashing in these streets. All right, that needs to be very well understood. Moving into this, and the reason I'm breaking this all down is because I'm here in California, and I usually don't let people know where I'm going to be because I don't feel like dealing with blowback about my presence, because I'm not the news. I'm just there to look at what's happening and show you guys what's going on. So we're going to cover a protest that's scheduled for tomorrow at WiSpa. But with everything that I'm going to show you leading up to it, it could turn into a big event. It could turn into something that's going to be a big brawl in the streets, like it ended up. And like I said, people were attacked, people were stabbed. There was a couple people that were beat up, and a lot of people didn't even know this was going on. You know what I mean? But again, there's been protests happening everywhere. But it's just wild to me how this is all being staged out, especially when you look at kind of the background details. Now, I don't want to get too deep into telling you a lot of stuff. I'm going to show you some videos here, and this first one is coming from a woman, and this is where I get frustrated. Cuban Angel, right, over on Instagram. I'm going to show you the video that sparked this entire thing. She's inside of this spa. Now, mind you, there's male and female dressing rooms. Also, in California, the Penal Code 51 does state that you cannot segregate someone based off their sex or gender or their self-identified sexual orientation. Now, what this started off with was a woman, as you'll see, very upset that, and as she said in a later press conference, she woke up from a nap. I don't know where she was napping, in the locker room or, by a hot tub. But they're segregated. So by that I mean they're separated off, male, female, and it's a nude establishment. So you're going to see the genitalia is going to be there. It's going to be a part of the process. That being said, this woman said that she was exposed to male genitalia, a penis and balls, as she said. And but I'm only smiling because the way she described it in multiple different press conferences. Now, she's saying that person identified as a female, but had male genitalia and was in a women's locker room around children and other women who she said felt traumatized. The issue that comes in on the back end of this is the police have investigated this, and everybody that was there that day, because you have to pay to go to this place. So it is kind of like a private situation. Not only that, but you have to sign in. You have to sign up. So they went through and they interviewed everybody that was there, and there was nobody that had any complaints. And this is where it becomes real kind of froggy. And this is just the back end that led up to what's going on. And Joe DeGrazi, yeah, I see what you're saying. So here's the thing. This particular situation came down to this woman being angry that she saw male genitalia in a female dressing room. This person, she said, identified as a woman. No one that was interviewed had any situations where children no one that had children there said that they had their children exposed to this situation. And no other women said they saw this person in the locker room. Doesn't take away from the fact that this person has their reality and what she saw, she stands behind, and has, in her own words, become a warrior for justice in a situation where women and little girls are being flashed, as she put it. So now, where I come in, I do have an issue. I would not want my daughter in a locker room with a naked man. I wouldn't. Now, I don't care what his personal designation is, his sexual designation. I personally wouldn't want that. So I personally wouldn't take my daughter to a public location where a situation that is protected by the Penal Code of California would allow somebody in that situation to be in that locker room, because I don't want to have to deal with it. I don't want to have that fight, right? And I think that it's up to every parent to keep their child safe. That's what being a parent is, right? It's protecting your child. So this person, these children, multiple children that were in this locker room that saw this male genitalia, this partially erect, which is something that came out later. This is what she says in the video, you'll see. But she says that it was a partially erect penis and balls, testicles. I would feel remiss as a parent if I put my child in a situation where that would happen, and I'd have to walk through that with them, because I can see how that'd be traumatizing for a little girl to see that, and for little boys too. You know, you have a naked lady walking into your dressing room, you're kind of like, well, what's going on, right? Granted, I mean, let's be real about it. Boys aren't going to complain as much. There's not going to be a lot of young men that are like, those are partially erect nipples, and I don't appreciate seeing them in this locker room. I would like you to leave, madam. Scoot. That's not what happens. Just saying. And Bill Xander, I see what you did there. Penis code. Penal code. So I'm going to go ahead and play this video for you. But what's crazy is all of this started with someone upset from something that she saw in this, this establishment. Ended up with people being stabbed and bludgeoned in the street over what I would assume are their personal views of what turned into a fight about transgender individuals. So I'm going to go ahead and pull this up for you real quick. Now, again, this is from a woman by the name of Cuban Angel. And you can jump in, Cubana Angel, I want to say, or Cuban Angel. Yeah, you can check her out on Instagram if you want to go that route. I'm going to go ahead and play this so you guys can see exactly what I'm talking about here.
WiSpa, so it's okay. I just want to be clear with you. It's okay. It's okay for a man to go into the women's section, show his penis around the other women, younger girls, underage. Your spa, WiSpa, condone that. Is that what you're saying? Like I asked. It's so he can stay there. He can stay there. What's sexual orientation?
Now, what you're getting from this individual right now,
man.
okay, is this employee at this point
He is a man. He is not no female.
doing their best to basically recite this penal code.
Hold on. He is not a female, sweetie. Okay, girls down there, other women who are highly offended for what they just saw. And you did nothing. Absolutely nothing. In fact, you sided with him. So WiSpa is an agreement with men that just say they are a woman and they can go down there with their.
Now, again, we gotta understand what's happening here. The penal code of California 51 states that they have to allow people into these dressing rooms. They have to allow people that identify as they identify into these dressing rooms, right? Male or female. Now, in the airports, right, we see plenty of situations where they have unisex bathrooms. Easy solution, right? I would think, and now granted, maybe they don't have the infrastructure in place to add an extra restroom, whatever it might be. A redevelopment of what they have going could change this situation right now. But the way it's set up now, as is protected by law in California, this is the way it's at now. Now these employees are what this employee is saying. You can't quite hear because of the mask and the plastic shield. Is that there is there's nothing they can do. This is what it is, and no one else has complained at this point. So I'm gonna go ahead and keep playing this here.
Penis and get into the women's section. Is that what you're saying? What really? What law? What law? So women can go into the men with their breasts. Okay. Yeah, you shouldn't. Y'all wouldn't come back either. Yeah, get your money back. You got a man with penis talking about he's a woman. He ain't no woman. Yeah, give her money back. There's no such thing as transgender. He has a dick. Okay? He has a penis. He has a penis hanging out. Okay, no, I'm not one. Actually,
I'm not sure why it's
I have to stand up and speak up for my rights. As a woman, I have a right to feel comfortable without a man exposing himself. Okay? No, you go somewhere else. Okay, so that's right. No, he's not a transgender. He has a penis, just like you do. Are you? No. Yeah. Okay, it's not okay. Okay, that's traumatizing to see that. I'm a woman. I think this is a place right here.
I know there's an echo.
Only
I'm
for
gonna cut
women.
this here in a second.
So how dare you sit up here and tell me I don't have a right as a woman to defend? I'm telling you, he has a penis.
Okay.
A full and testicles, okay? And I don't care what it's a man. You got one?
Okay. So now you kind of know what's going on here. So yeah, I know it was echoing, but you made out what I was saying, right? I mean, I could redo that, but you heard what was going on. It's not my mic; it's the double screen, guys. So I got it, guys. We're good. We're good. It was a little echo. Well, we're good. We got it. We got it figured out. That being said, there not the echo part, but so what the woman was getting at was that she was upset, like you heard. That the one guy was asking. He said, "Well, was it a transgender individual?" Now, this happened on the 3rd, I believe. I'd have to double check, but I believe it was the 3rd of July. It's just like 2 weeks ago. Now, yeah, you guys, the echo thing was gonna be all right. Now, here's where things get real froggy. So now, the issue that we have is that the police went through and asked questions, and they didn't find anybody who had identified as seeing this situation happen. And this woman, as it is right now, has become kind of like a vigilante in a cause. Now, if you go further into her background and follow her a little bit deeper, it does take her into some other websites that are very, very hard right leaning now, and that's where things become politicized in this whole situation. It becomes like as a friend of mine would say, just like a political football, right? And then now it's an identification, right? Like, how do I want to identify? So this is where it gets real crazy. So you could call me, like, let's say I said something that was just offhandedly racist, right? And then someone called me on it, like, man, you can't say that. It's racist and derogatory towards Asians. And then I come back and say something like, well, I identify as an Asian individual, so I can do what I want. Now, this is where things become very convoluted, right? Like, at what point do we just go back to like the brass tacks, ones and zeros? And let's talk about solutions, right? Like, this woman had an issue with this whole thing taking place, right? This person being there. Well, you pay to play. Like, you have to go in there, you pay to play, you know the laws, and if you show up and it happens, that's just what happens. You know what I mean? You can't get mad at somebody for doing exactly what their rights are. You know what I mean? That's what America is, right? Exercising your rights to do what you want. Now, this is where things get real kind of sideways, because as we move forward in this, that's where the laws were broken. This is where people were physically accosted because of the pour out from this. Right now, one of the things I want to go ahead and let you guys know. So this is the civil. Okay, so this is the revised the code 51, Civil Code 51. It says this section shall be known and may be cited as the Unruh Civil Rights Act. Okay, all persons within the jurisdiction of the state are free and equal, and no matter what their sex, race, color, religion, ancestry, national origin, disability, medical condition, genetic information, marital status, sexual orientation, citizenship, primary language, or immigration status, are entitled to the full and equal accommodations, advantages, facilities, privileges, or services in all business establishments in every kind whatsoever. Now, this section shall not be construed to confer any rights or privileges on a person that is conditioned or limited by law, or that is applicable alike to persons of every sex, color, race, religion, ancestry, and it goes through all the listings again. Now, this is where it gets froggy because, like I said, you can always just put in a new restroom that's unisex. Nothing in this section shall be construed to require any construction, alteration, repair, structural, or otherwise, or modification of any sort whatsoever beyond that construction, alteration, repair, or modification that is required by the provisions of law to any new or existing establishment, facility, building, improvement, or any other structure, nor shall anything in this section be construed to augment, restrict, or alter in any way the authority of the state architect to require construction, alteration, blah, blah. What they're saying basically is they can't force someone to remodel their building to appease the law, right? Disability, they go through the breakdown of that. 2A, genetic information means with respect to any individual information about any of the following. 1, the individual's genetic tests. 2, the genetic tests of family members of the individual. 3, the manifestation of a disease, disorder of the family member of the individual. Okay, genetic information includes any request, this is part B here, includes any request for or receipt of genetic services or participation in clinical research that includes genetic services by any individual or any family member of the individual. Now, the genetic information does not include information about the sex or age of any individual, medical condition. All right, now then it comes down to Article 5 here, right? So it says sex includes but not limited to pregnancy, childbirth, medical conditions related to pregnancy or childbirth. Sex also includes but is not limited to a person's gender. Gender means sex and includes a person's gender identity and gender expression. Gender expression, it goes further in, means a person's gender-related appearance and behavior, whether or not stereotypically associated with the person's assigned sex at birth. You can go further into it. I mean, there's more there, but so here we go. Now we're in this position where somebody went ahead and identified as a woman, or as a woman with male genitalia, went into a women's dressing room and was nude in front of women and apparently, as she said, children. Okay. Things got violent. And now we're going to go ahead and fast forward. So that's what led up to this. She made some very public statements, really went out there and made herself, she put herself on a platform and really kind of pushed that. She had people that were with her and really kind of helped press the matter. Now and then it turned into, like I said, like a political football about what's right, what's wrong, but by the political part, I mean they became right left type thing, and this is where things get all weird for me, and it's just ridiculous. But a couple things happened. Now I'm going to show you a breakdown. So things got violent, which is crazy to me. So here we go. I'm going to show you guys this video here, and now I found this video. Hold on, let me do this real fast. So I found this video, and this is a forensic breakdown of a stabbing that took place. And the person has identified kind of protesters, counter-protesters, right? So I'll have to double check and see where we're at on the counter-protester scale as to who's who and what's what. But basically, you have people that were there originally demonstrating against WiSpa and people that are there demonstrating against the demonstrators that were demonstrating against WiSpa, mind you. So, but there was people there that were attacked, and in that, here I'm going to show you this video, and it's pretty comprehensive. And so we're going to take a look at it right quick and go full screen on this one. Boom. So. So one of the things here, I'm going to throw some headphones in because I don't want to deal with that echo again if it's echoing for you guys. I do apologize. So let's see if this works better for us here. So protester and number 2 walks towards counter protester number 2. Okay, so protester, so counter protester is going to be people in green. Protesters are going to be people in yellow that, man. So people in yellow protesting, the ones that are saying, hey, we're not cool with WiSpa. As you see on that sign right there, shame on WiSpa, right? And then the people that you'll see in green with the green circles are they're protesting against those protesters. So I'm just going to go ahead and pull this up so I can kind of make sure that I'm not getting an echo. So here, let's do this. I want to be okay. One more thing I need to tell you guys about this before I jump too far into it is well, I just want to double check my sound here real fast. I want to be okay. One more thing I need to tell you. We're good here. Is that this video is kind of showing things that happened towards the end of the. You know what? Let's do this for you here. There's some stuff that happened before this, okay, and so we're going to show you that real fast. So here we go. And this is going to be coming from a YouTube video, a YouTube angle from BCP, Black Conservative Preacher out of Oregon, who was down there. And we're going to go ahead and take a look at some of the stuff that kind of led up to this event taking place here. So, boom, here we go. And oh, 1 second, here we go. Are we not seeing this? Here we go. Okay. So some people have already been attacked here. And that being said, we've got there's been some street preachers. Is his best way to tell them that some people that were out protesting against these guys right here. And this is where things kind of get real froggy. Just want to make sure I'm giving you the best angle here, guys. So they get confronted as we move forward here by people that are counter-protesting.
Up toward them. They're already pushing on them.
And you can see there's an Antifa flag right there. So let's just be clear about the groups that are here. Stuff's getting thrown. Now these guys are out there preaching, and so this group is kicking them out, telling them they need to leave. They're not welcome there. Oh man, yeah. So I'm just gonna let this play out so you guys can kind of see what's going down. There was also a couple pepper spray incidents, and now I'm only giving you a chance. I'm only showing what I was able to get into this. I'm not trying to give you guys 15 different camera angles.
You're gonna get hit. Oh man.
So here's where
they're gonna beat. They're gonna beat.
You'll see.
They're gonna beat. Yo. No, you guys. Okay, just let him go. Just let him go. Just let him go. Just let him go. Let him go. Let him go.
Now pay attention right here.
Go, man.
This guy that you just saw on the left is the one that actually
just let him,
will come up in this next video. That guy just got hit in the back of the head by a metal pipe.
Oh, this is crazy. tried to. Just let him go.
You hear him say it's a bad idea to be here.
Fuck this guy! Hey, fuck you! Go get him! Go get him! Hey! The Patriots just walked up and cracked someone in the head.
So you heard him say a Patriot just walked up and cracked that guy in the head.
Okay.
Get the fuck out! Get the fuck out! Get the fuck out! Walk!
So they're kicking these guys out. You know, tell them to skip.
Okay, that's the pit.
And then across the other street, other side of this bus, is where someone filming got hit by someone on the Patriot side, as it was said by BCP here. He said that it was a Patriot that came up and hit him in the head with a pipe or like a pipe of some type. What's crazy is the lack of police presence, right? Like, this has all been going on now for a little bit. I mean, this video right now we're 35 minutes into this video. First part of it was basically just the people they're pushing out people like the black conservative preacher here. You heard conservative preacher. You're going to hear right leaning, and immediately people are like saying, "Hey, you got to get out of here. Not allowed to be here." And so,
just let him be.
He's saying, "This is my neighborhood, man. This is my block."
You shouldn't be following your fucking God. What the fuck have you ever done?
Now the issue that we have here is that, like, people that are being told they can't be there. Like,
maybe you're the fucking brainwashed one.
Yeah.
You're the fucking
They didn't
brainwashed
clone the
one.
outlies and make people slaves.
Yeah, they fucking do.
Islam has not done slavery.
Fuck out of here.
Islam
You're good,
still supports slavery.
You're good, man. Come on, let him be. Let him be.
okay, now it's becoming a religious debate, right?
4 countries: Chad, Niger, Sudan.
And we're not going to watch all of that.
Islam supports slavery. Christians abolish.
Okay.
You're politically correct. That's why you're wrong. That's why you're wrong. You're politically correct.
So you're going to tell that there's not a lot of room left for people
He's
to.
good. He's good.
So we're going to skip forward here, and you can tell that there's still altercations
stuff on the
happening
black
down
shirt.
here, and another person to check out is Jeremy Lee Quinn. I just realized that he was right there in the crowd filming, so he was in the mix. Watching everything that happened as well. So you can see there's plenty of people that are recording, right? Like, there's plenty of people out here, but they identify certain people as being
They just threw water on me.
unwanted,
Saw that.
and
Oh wait, it's a trans person.
say that
These are right behind me again.
saying
That
so.
might
This
be a
person,
trans person.
so black conservative preacher right here is filming, and apparently he's saying that it's a trans person right here that's being attacked by the crowd, and the police are behind him while this is happening, which again is.
More people are running up. You can see more people are running up.
And this is where things get bad, man. Like, you have people that are in these situations where it turns into a mob, and all it takes is somebody to get froggy, come up from the side, which you catch a little glimpse of in during that last little segment that we watched. So, all right, boom. We're gonna stop sharing that there. Boom. Go back over here. All right, cool. And let's do this real fast. Boom. Pause that. All right, cool. So now, one of the things that did crack off in that video that you, I don't know if you could tell, was the where we at over here? I don't think there was a sign melts glass that said CJTV on a building. Now, there's a lot of the day. Now, to be clear, like, I'm seeing someone saying that I skipped a lot of the day. Like I said, I'm not going to be able to go through it. there's plenty of locations where you can go check all the footage out from the day. I'm just giving you an idea, a breakdown basically of kind of the premise, so you can understand going into tomorrow what we're hoping to avoid, which is violence, right? Like, I'm going to be out there viewing it for you to see. I don't participate in the protests. I'm not out there saying one thing or the other. What I'm not an advocate for is people being attacked for feeling they're a certain way. You know what I mean? And that being said, like, I don't care if you're right or left. I don't care up or down, pro or con. Attacking someone for their beliefs is unacceptable, right? And that's where this next video pops in. So during that fracas, we'll call it, you heard that one guy he was angry. Right? What the fuck, man? And you heard a very distinct tick, like a baseball bat. That's where this comes in. Now, granted, there's plenty more that goes into this, and we're going to look at other stuff that happens here. There was maces. People got pepper sprayed before this. Punches were thrown. Honestly, I wasn't trying to be here all night and source all these videos because there's going to be plenty more tomorrow. So, set up notifications. If you're on YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, Twitter, set up your notifications, guys, and watch tomorrow. I'll be out there. See it for yourself. Check it out. Set up your own opinion, view it, and formulate your own opinions. It's what I encourage everyone to do, no matter what your stance on things. Watch as much as possible. You might find something new, something that'll open your thought process to something different. Who knows? You never know. I'm not misinformed. There's no misinformation here. I'm showing you what happened. I'm not telling you what happened. I'm just showing you what happened here. So God rides a Harley. I'm not telling you the news. I'm just playing you videos and telling you, showing you what's going on. And then tomorrow we'll be able to watch it some more and kind of get a better idea of what's going on. This is where this guy, here, I'm just going to show you guys here. So. Man, watch that one more time. Well, let's add that one more time. Bam! Now the dude he hit has a press right there on his back, right? I'm not, like I said, I'm not cool with, I don't care what side you're on, man. You can't attack people like that. As a member of the press, uninvolved, and you see this person in the background of other videos, and not participating in any way. I don't know if it was because they got a target put on their head, however it worked out, but straight up was just clubbed in the back of the head by it turns out it was like a hickory stick that was like lead filled, which is crazy to me that somebody would roll up and straight crack on somebody like that. I mean, this dude has a helmet on, you can see that. Had this guy, a gentleman by the name of Rocky, had he not had a helmet on, that would have straight up crushed his skull. That would have killed him. And that's crazy to me. You know what I mean? I don't condone violence of any kind. You know what I mean? I don't care. Yeah, someone says soldier for freedom. You know what? Here we go. I'll make that call. I'll make that call and see if I can't get. We'll see if I can't get. We were watching Black Conservative Preacher before this. I'm going to go ahead and see if I can't get him on the line and see if he's available to even talk a little bit and give us his POV of what happened. Now, so this is where this person was smacked with a hickory stick. So, and then the person takes off. There's another video of what happened. Cool. So let me do this here real quick. Boom. And so, all right, let's remove that. Boom. Okay, we're getting better at this. So, Soldier for Freedom here asks, why don't I ask BCP or WYSIWYG, or have them come on and explain to you what happened? They were there for the whole ordeal and filmed it all. Like I said, I was showing the YouTube video that we watched originally. I found on Black Conservative Preacher, with BCP, that stands for Black Conservative Preacher, on his YouTube. which you can check out. Sorry. So, jeez, autocorrect, man. No, my gosh. I'm trying to. We'll figure it out. So we're gonna see if we can't get him on the line, and get get an idea of what their take was on the event. So Lady Katie says, I saw the whole thing live. Head enders are bad. That's scary. And I do have. The nice part is in the communities, like especially being in the Northwest, you end up with a lot of contact with people that are out in the stream world, and you cross paths all the time. So, and I'm not going to get too far into the crazy back end of everything. But and by that I mean yeah, watching streams you can make your own. Colleen Jones, you hit it on the head right there. Boom. Watch the streams, make your own, formulate your own opinions. You know what I mean? Let me see. I'm trying to catch up, you guys. I'm trying to catch up with comments here. Let's see. Send me a way to contact you. I'll call in. Okay. Okay. Let's. I'll ask him. Let's ask. Boom, boom, boom. Here. So WYSIWYG is actually in the chat right now. Okay. Why don't you send me an email, CJ? Here, somebody would go ahead and post that. CJ at cjtv.live. So we'll do this for you real fast. Boom. And sorry about the jumpy screen here, guys. I'm at a remote studio set up here. But I'm grateful to be where I'm at. Boom. And we're going to show that. So feel free to email me, CJ at cjtv.live. Once that hits the inbox with the phone number, I can go ahead and give you a call. And like I said, I'm open to all sides of every situation here. So let's go ahead. And while we're waiting for that to come in, there we go. Okay, cool. What do we got over here? Boom. 1 second, guys. Make sure that I'm not blasting anybody's info out here. Oh. All right, cool. All right, move that out of the way, pal. Okay. So as I said, I'm going to go ahead and give WYSIWYG a call here real fast and try to get an opinion of what happened. And then I'm going to actually give a call to, well, let's just do that real fast. Let's do this real quick. Now, mind you, I've never actually talked to this gentleman before, so we're going to get a chance to get a firsthand chat.
What's going on, CJ? It's Chris.
Chris, how are you, man?
I'm fired up, buddy.
Fired up,
Fired
huh?
up. Sorry to be giving you a hard time. I really have to apologize for that. But
have you been?
I just think it's really important that people know exactly how the day broke down.
Okay.
And I'm going to do it from a very nonpartisan standpoint because I've been doing the intel on this. I knew what was going on, and I knew what was going to happen that day.
Okay. Yeah.
So, how are you?
I'm good, man. I didn't realize you were giving me a hard time.
I wasn't really. I'm watching your show. The gang said you were on. I was paying attention to see how you broke it down.
Right.
And I just felt as though because you weren't there, you missed a lot of really important information for the audience to understand. I think you nailed exactly what happened with Cuban Angel and her video that went up.
Yeah.
I think you nailed it correctly that the people on the left tend to believe that it didn't actually happen, and this whole is a fake outrage incident. It's not, and the reasoning I use for that, just so everybody knows, is what the spa manager says is very important, and it's something that the left is refusing to recognize. She doesn't say this doesn't happen. She admits to knowing that this person identified as a woman and had to let them in. So right there, that tells you that this is not a false outrage incident. This clearly did happen.
The question that I have, though, is I saw where the police had investigated and contacted all the people that were on the roster that day, and they couldn't find anybody that had self-identified as being transgender.
Well, when do people help the police anyway? So that doesn't surprise me. I think that most people are not going to want to speak out about this based on what the event was.
Okay.
Clearly, the folks there knew what happened at the time, and the verification coming from the WiSpa manager saying, hey, we can't discriminate against this person, we had to let them in, tells me enough to know that this woman was outraged for whatever reason about, maybe it happened a little different. Everybody's story is a little different. Maybe it's not as much, genitalia as she claims. But I think that the WiSpa manager verifies what happened. They know this person was in that spa. Right?
Okay.
So to say it didn't happen and that it's all false outrage is complete nonsense.
Well, the issue, the only thing that I saw that was confusing to me was when I watched the press conference that she did later. She got into much more descriptive detail about what she saw. It went from just seeing a penis and testicles to, and this is ridiculous, we're going to get too deep into this, but she saw what became, which in itself, I guess by the penal code, that's acceptable. The issue was that it came in later that she said that it was partially erect, which would then constitute a lewd act, right? And
okay.
That's when I personally had some questions. And I watched it and I was like, I'm open to both sides and hearing both sides of any story. It just, for me, I was kind of confused because I always like to know when people jump into something, like, what are they saying from the beginning, But I'm never going to take away the fact that if it did happen to her and she felt the way she felt, 100% her, that I would never, ever take that away from anybody. Male, female, child, grown, or otherwise.
Right.
If somebody
and many of the people that I've spoken to on the left actually feel the same way.
Okay.
They also they support the transgender community, but yet they're telling me quietly in messages that they actually don't want their children being subjected to the same types of things because they understand that argument. But for some reason, they still go out there and counter-protest and incite this violence because they're pushing an agenda. So I find that really strange. One of those people was Precious Child, admitted to me, because I straight up asked Precious, did you go in there? Were you the person in there? And they said no. So, there was this whole thing brewing before everybody even got out there to protest.
So okay. And that was...
The protesters said they were going out at 9 a.m. Or pardon me, at 11 a.m. That's when the people that were for or against the WiSpa and what happened and, protecting the women and what they called the pedophilia protest or anti-pedo protest.
Yeah, I saw the shirts that said anti or F pedalwood was one that I saw.
Yeah, that was like the only flyer that was out, but that had an 11 o'clock start. So then Precious started organizing a counter protest to that, which was to start at 10 o'clock. And that's where we saw Antifa and whatnot on their social media. It was specifically the AARF. It was the Southwest Youth Liberation Front and SoCal Antifa. And then anybody else who aligns with all of them were putting out this flyer saying, the Nazi racist transphobes are coming to WiSpa. We have to be out there and keep our neighborhoods safe and run them out.
Okay.
So they were going to be out there at 10 o'clock. Well, then as the week went, it then became 9 a.m. That's why some of us were out there as early as 9 o'clock that morning, because I knew what had happened in the past at other events, that you get out there early and see what happens. So that's why Quincy was out there around 9. I was out there same time-ish, and that is what we saw.
Let me ask you, when you get out there early like that, and you see these protesters, right? The people that were organized the protest there at WiSpa, and I had to say it like that because we have to identify that there was a protest and then a counter protest. And the protest
Correct.
originally, or demonstration, if you will, was against WiSpa and in the situation that came up through that Cuban Angel individual who said that there was genitalia shown to a woman and children. Now the people, and I saw some stuff that came up, and this is where I get I get cautious about when people put titles out there, is that the people that were protesting initially, they weren't protesting against transgender individuals, right?
That's correct.
Okay, so I want to be clear about that, guys. That
people tried to make that clear in their social media posts when this outrage was starting to begin, and you could see this fight brewing, was that, hey, it's not about trans people. It's not about the gay community. It's strictly about the protecting women and what going into a women-only spa entails.
Can I ask,
That's
wouldn't
the social media post that I saw.
Well, wouldn't it make more sense than to take that protest to the steps of City Hall or to the Capitol, where these actual this Penal Code 51 is actually put into play? Because I think WiSpa, I mean, from what I've read here, and I've got it posted up right now, that it seems to be that their hands are tied, and that the attendant, the woman, the Cuban Angel woman, was speaking to, that's what they kept saying. Like, listen, we can't do anything. That's a law.
And I believe she made that perfectly clear.
Right. And she kept saying that WiSpa supports these people. And I got to say, like, it doesn't seem like WiSpa supported anything other than the fact that their hands are tied by the law. And
correct. And I totally agree with that.
Right.
And yes, but again, we go back to, we saw this argument brewing and where it was going, and death threats from all kinds of people. It was getting very ugly.
Now, why were people getting death threats? I heard that Precious, so you guys know, Precious Child is a live streamer based out of Los Angeles, a musician, kind of a multi-talented artistic individual that has been streaming for a long time, covers mostly protests. Now, I'd heard that somebody had said initially that Precious was the person in the spa in question, and that
Precious
people were
made a
making
post.
threats against Precious, like life-threatening posts against Precious. Is that right?
Because Precious put up a post on social media alluding to the fact that it was Precious that was in the WiSpa that Cuban Angel is speaking of. He used very interesting wording that had a word in there that it appears everybody missed in the outrage of thinking that Precious admitted to being in the spa. And you could clearly see, looking through the thread of comments, that the people who were making the nastiest, worst comments made it clear that they believed that Precious was the one that was in there exposing themselves to women and children. And so I had to reach out to Precious and ask, were you the person that was in there? And the reply I got was, no, it was not me. Thank you for asking. I said, well, why don't you help everybody and chill this out by letting people know that it is not you, and that the post alluded to it and they didn't want to.
Okay. Now,
so I found that interesting, but there was a lot of confusion in there. And to this day, people still believe that Precious was the person in the spa.
Right. But Precious themselves has said that they were not at the spa, that it wasn't them in the spa. Right. Okay. So, and I always take people for face value, man. Like, if anyone says something to me, I have no reason not to believe them. And it doesn't matter what you're telling me. I'm not going to not allow you your truths unless something comes out later and we get to see that, like, hey, man, there's something froggy about it. Let's look into it. All of this seems very secondary to the events of the day. Right. Like, whether or not there was somebody there, whether they weren't. The bigger picture is that this is a situation that's going to keep coming up, right? Because there is this Penal Code 51 that allows these situations to take place. Now, as I mentioned earlier, it would make sense that, and unfortunately, like, the Penal Code does say that no businesses have to make any alterations or change the structure of their business to fit the code. But if they had a transgender or a unisex bathroom where it's understood that people could go there and have that be a part. Now, in this spa, to be clear, women and men are kept separate while in the spa, correct? Not just the dressing rooms.
That is my understanding, as well as doing research on their website that clarifies that as well.
Okay.
There are designated areas for men and women.
Right. And this is not again, guys, this isn't a public spa. You have to pay to go here. And I'm going to try to show you guys, while we're talking here, a little bit of a breakdown of what the WiSpa, looks like. So, okay. Now that being said, so walk me through how the violence started, from your opinion.
So when I first arrived, the first thing that I noticed was that there was groups of 2 walking the neighborhoods, clearly dressed in black, covered up, and what appeared to be scouts. That was my first indication that there was going to be trouble.
What do you mean by scouts? When you say scouts, what do you mean?
They were watching the area. I've seen it at other past events. They have scouts. Typically, they're on bicycles. They're out roaming the neighborhood, calling in information to a source. So typically, there's a couple of Telegram groups that they'd use. In the past, they used Telegram. They don't use Telegram as much anymore. They use a social media, a Twitter account, where people on the ground report back to the person that's doing the Twitter, and they give locations of police and counter protesters, what they refer to as chuds, alt-right crew, whatever it is. They're trying to provide as much communication detail to the protesters directly.
Okay.
So that's what I refer to as the scouts. But on that day, noticed that there were scouts everywhere around the WiSpa. And when I drove by WiSpa and saw the group in block that's out there standing, that's when I knew things were sort of heading in a direction that I expected from the social media posts that I'd seen. Pushing out Nazis. That was a term that was used a lot. Okay. So it was clear showing up at 9 o'clock what their intention was.
Okay. And now when you say pushing out Nazis, and I've heard that term so many times, fascist, Nazis, whatever. Yeah. Do you find yourself aligning yourself more on the right side of things as to be in the grand scheme of it all, or do you?
Yes, that's kind of obvious.
Okay. And I don't
subscribe to the nonsense from the other side. I try to keep it quiet. I try to just let my camera show what's going on. But there's sometimes I get a little excited, like you do, and my feelings come out because I cannot allow certain things to be. I don't like the violence. That's my biggest issue. Violence towards anybody is unacceptable,
right.
And I will call it every time. And that's usually when I sound like I'm from the right, because I don't buy into their argument as to why that violence is needed.
Right.
I don't think the violence solves the problems.
Yeah, and I absolutely, you're never going to hear me say anything other than the same. There's definitely different schools of thought on that. I personally, can definitely agree with anybody who maintains that ideology that, when the second that you lean in the direction of violence, and granted, this is where a lot of people diverge, the greater message is being lost, because
correct.
All you're seeing now is the fact that, there's someone being assaulted or otherwise,
Right. On the issues, I probably agree with them.
Yeah,
Their way about going about it steers me in the other direction automatically.
Right. So someone asked, we'll get back to that in a minute, but now that's where this political aspect comes in. Now, and again, this is where I find myself really kind of having big issues with it, because this isn't, if you want to get political about it, it comes down to laws. It's not about right-leaning, left-leaning, Chud, Antifa. None of that makes it wagers into this in zero form. I saw someone out there that had an LGBTQ flag.
Yeah, that's Mario.
Okay, and this Mario person, how do they identify? Do you know?
LGBTQ.
Okay, so in the community, and
Yep.
They were protesting against WiSpa. Is that correct?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I saw that right. And that's where, like you said, there are people that have reached out to you kind of in whispers, so to speak, that have said they agree that there should be a separation in these dressing rooms, right? They agree with that.
Everyone that I've talked to on the left, I don't want to throw the names out there.
Okay.
Because
Well, let's
these are
not.
conversations that I hold, sort of sacred, but in that conversation and discussing the true issue that happened, they agree with the people who were going out to protest the spot.
Okay. So let me ask you, why is everyone fighting then? Why in this situation are people out there brawling with each other and in the streets? Is it because people have forgotten that this isn't about the two groups, but about a much bigger picture, and so they focus their anger, as all too common, on the person standing in front of them and whatever their personal, political, religious, or otherwise views happen to be?
Well, I don't want to speculate, but what I can say based on what I hear is the commonality is I hear, it's about Trump supporters. I hear it's about, what they're yelling at people is, the right hates Antifa, the left hates Trump, the left hates Nazis and white supremacists. Everybody's been labeled. And then that's pretty much the base cause, it appears. And tensions have just gotten to the point where they can't even have a conversation. And if they actually talked and understood, I think they'd all agree on the same thing, because I don't believe that the left is a bunch of pedophiles, but yet they seem to support allowing these incidents to happen under the guise of anti-trans phobia. I don't know, man. It's really tough, because when we have these personal conversations, we can get to an understanding and realize that we're not all awful people. Right. The left isn't awful, the right isn't awful, but for some reason, when it gets out on the street, it's just a lot of bickering. Nobody can change each other's minds, and it's gotten to the point where now, when people show up with signs, and, this organizer kid that shows up first thing in the morning, he instantly, they're ripping up his signs. They're not going to allow him to have a voice. They're going to run him out and assault him. And that just started this whole snowball effect that went throughout the day, when you've got the preachers that show up and they get pushed out and assaulted and whatnot. There's no discussion. It's instantly violence coming from that side that showed up. Right. And that's what the videos that you see. What? I went in there with my camera and I instantly was told I had to leave.
Now, why do you feel that they down here? I know you're based in LA, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Why do you feel that they have such strong feeling? Because I showed up I got to an event probably about a month and a half ago that was happening down in LA, and you were there apparently that evening, and you had been accosted as well. Why do you feel like this group?
I'm sorry, which event was that?
It was down at a fountain. There was a memorial service set up at a fountain.
Yeah, that was the Dante Wright.
It was a Dante Wright. There you go. And someone had smashed up the memorial. And when I got there,
Thursday before, yeah.
Mm-hmm. And I think it was on a Friday that I got down there. And apparently you were there, and you had been approached, accosted, whatever happened again. And apparently that happened again at this event, this WiSpa event. So why do you feel like you're being targeted as much as you have been?
They haven't liked me covering their events because they don't cover them the way they want to, but they want me to. Even though I tend to stay at a distance, they all approach my camera. I know that I have to stand near the police officers, that are out there, because they've shown this intent to come after me when they have the opportunity. So I try not to give them that opportunity. At Dante Wright, it was a Hollywood Thursday night that they went out there and did the memorial. And I stood across the street where the officers were, and filmed from a distance. They started marching up the street and to march to Hollywood, and I followed behind and watched what was going on. There was several things that happened, some pepper spray incident that happened, and eventually they decided they didn't want me filming, so they put their umbrellas into the. They sent the umbrella brigade over. One guy in particular, which I called Too Tall, or not tall enough, and he was trying to prevent me from recording. And we walked all the way through Hollywood with this guy sort of harassing me. But at some point that night, the one thing that they did that was interesting was there was another person there that was streaming, and that person had come up and said hi to me, introduced himself while I was live. Obviously, they're monitoring, and halfway through the march, they prevented me from moving with the march.
Okay.
And I didn't realize what was happening. There was something going on ahead of me. What they were doing was they had set up this assault on him, took his phone, threw it over the fence, and kicked him out of the event, out of the march. And so that was, yet another attack on a streamer person who doesn't align with them. And I know why they were mad about that, but people do what they're going to do. So that happened Thursday night. And then later on, after the police had dispersed the crowd and sent everybody away, I had left. And after I had left, there was a group of people that went back and destroyed the vigil. They cleaned it up. And somehow, because of this person, Water Spider, said that I was the one who was out there and was a part of that destruction of the memorial. And so Saturday, when they went out to do the memorial again, they were on me, and they were trying to get my camera, and that's when on Hollywood Boulevard, somebody came up over the top of me, swiped my camera, knocked it to the ground, and took me out for the night. But I still managed to live stream. But that's the event that you're talking about.
Okay, yeah. Do you feel? I mean, I know a lot of these.
This Saturday, that was the most violent they had been.
I know a lot of folks that I've talked to that are willing to talk. They have issues with people that are like hard right leaning. I mean, like saying hard right. Some people because of doxing situations, and I know a lot of people don't understand what doxing is and what that does. But in a lot of situations, I've heard that that's one of the big henchpins that they've got in the reasons that they try to have some people that they don't allow in. But I've also seen as recent up in Portland where these leaflets were passed, 10,000 leaflets were passed out in the neighborhoods, and they made it clear that people should assault, block, and push out anybody with a camera because they have their own drip press.
They don't want you to show anything that they did. They don't want you to show the truth.
Okay.
Is ultimately what they're saying. They're not saying that, but that is what they're saying. They don't want you to show their actions.
Right, and I get that, and I get where that frustrates people that are out there just to give the rest of the world the vantage point of what's happening in the streets. I think where things kind of get a little bit dicey is when people get aggressive with putting a camera in someone's face, or they really,
you'll see that is not what I do.
Right, and I mean, I'm not saying you personally.
From the beginning, when they first started this, I said, okay, I'll play your game a little bit. I will give you space. I will stand over here, but when something is happening, I'm going to get in there a little bit. I'm going to show what's happening. And they don't like that is clearly what it is.
Okay. Yeah, and I get that. I'm
not out there to dox them.
Okay.
Their faces are covered up.
And I make that clear
they're
too.
Not doing anything illegal.
Right.
Until they start doing illegal things.
Right.
But,
sure. No, I get it, man. So let's. I want to stay kind of on target here. So the events that took place there was a couple stabbings that happened. There was a gentleman, and you hear it on Black Conservative Preachers stream. He said, a patriot just hit a member of press or a journalist. I don't remember exactly how he identified, but this person, and we just watched it. And actually, I'm going to show it one more time here because it was, it was intense. Guy runs up and just laid. I mean, I'm talking about a full-on overhead, like a chop.
in the timeline of the day, it's now happening post them assaulting me, and I don't know that has anything to do with it. But at this point, I've already been assaulted.
Are you saying by the people who attacked the journalist?
No, by
the block.
Yes. So, and what I've seen in the video throughout the day, there is a core group that seems to be the violent portion of that group. And it's the same people assaulting me, assaulting the preachers, assaulting what I don't think you're seeing in BCP's video perhaps is the gentleman in the white or gray shirt with his signs, that as this person comes up and hits the press guy over the head or the helmet, is just to the right of that, they have just kicked the shit out of this guy.
I will.
That's on the ground.
I will. Hold on
about a dozen Antifa. And then this person, this patriot, comes in and hits, that's Rocky, over the head once and takes off.
So you're saying it was kind of a retaliation for...
I don't know what it was. I'm just telling you, this is what was happening at the time, is they were assaulting the preacher kind of in the gutter of the street and the sidewalk that you see very clearly in a number of other videos besides Quincy's.
No, I watched it. Like I said, and guys, anyone watching right now, I got to be clear. Like I said, you can source information from as much as you want. I mean, I've watched probably 20 different camera angles, and I even have a full forensic breakdown of like what happens later. But that being said, the thing that got me that was really upsetting is someone who identifies as media when I'm out in the streets. It says press on the back of his vest. And I watched the video, and even in that, you could hear Quincy, who's a black conservative preacher, and that individual was like, hey, you know, like everyone needs, like they weren't there. There was nothing. They weren't assaulting anybody. I know Quincy was like, he was yelling at him to get off of the person on the ground, which I've done in DC. I've done it everywhere. Like when you see someone getting attacked, being stomped on, I've seen someone get beat to death, and I'll never ever stand idly by and watch that ever happen again in any situation.
Oddly enough, that's what Rocky did, was stood idly by as they were assaulting me, and he recorded, or as he says, he double hit his record button and wasn't recording anything at the time.
I saw, I caught okay. So so I watched a little bit of this from the kind of like a pullback view, right? And I saw there's a bushes, right, where you kind of went over some bushes, and I did see him there. Now, one thing I will say is, I saw, and then I kind of caught. Someone sent me a link, and unfortunately I was on a plane, so I didn't get a chance to watch it. But I didn't see that you were too banged up. Like I didn't see like you were too. I mean, either you take your lumps really well, or you didn't get them too bad. Not to say that, again, I'm not taking away from the fact that you were attacked, but I know in situations where I
hid what happened to me.
Gotcha.
Well.
Okay, well, and I'm sorry to hear that happen, man. Like I said,
it's all right.
It sucks no matter what.
They didn't get the best of me, but they clearly.
Well, you know, I mean, at the end of it all, it sucks no matter what. You know what I mean? So.
No, and it's in a cowardly way. It sucker punches over the top of the girls who are trying to pepper spray me, and then there's the one guy who I call man bun t-shirt guy. He's getting his licks in, and the coward with the skateboard got 2 hits on me with a skateboard. Now, fortunately, I didn't get it as bad as the preacher did by that same person, but I got plenty of bruises and things to counter what happened.
And this is where things get dangerous, because my personal experience, I watched someone with a skateboard attack somebody, and then I watched that person get shot in the chest and murdered and killed. So
I watched that live as you were doing that.
Yeah, and so I can tell you, like I personally know how violent and how bad things can get. So but I also know that I at that point, a lot of times, I don't know, and I'm not defending anyone's actions or lack of actions, whatever they might be. I just know that a lot of times you can only do what you can do, and you kind of hope, like you hope someone can kind of handle themselves. You know what I mean? But then sometimes, you need a hand. You know what I'm at? And Ali, take it easy. I mean, the second I say murdered, I mean, people are going to freak out. But I watched someone get killed at the barrel of a gun. So that's what I'm going to say. Man, I can't deal with people. Pump the brakes on everyone.
That's where it's headed.
And me too. And so that's kind of what I'm focused on with this, is I see what's happening, and I know that if the people are angry and they want to protest, and allow other people to share their opinions. But and you know, I'm gonna show more of a breakdown where people were stabbed and you know, and so like I said, there's you know, two sides to every fight, and there's three sides to every story, right? So yeah, and so like I said, I would, you guys, and if you everyone like pay attention when I say this, like there's more videos available. In the title here, like it says, WYSIWYG is, you can go and check out streams from that point of view. You can go into there's a handful of other people that were out there. Black Conservative Preacher. There's a couple other people that were out there, and if you happen to know of those, feel free to post you know, to send in a comment with any links to anyone else that might have had video footage of what happened, and check it out for yourself. But I don't want to hang up too much on what happened and spend a lot of time spinning tires on that, because what I'm trying to move towards is a better understanding of tomorrow, and let people understand that in all of this, in the wake of all this, with protests, like there needs to be a change in the way it happens, right? And we don't need
anyone that showed up to protest the WiSpa, what we're calling the protesters, was met by counter protesters and ran out of the area.
Right.
When I got there, we saw we missed a couple, but there are videos of a woman in pink that showed up. There's another woman in pink that showed up. The organizer of the protest, he showed up and was assaulted. Rocky did a breakdown video that started with where the young man pepper sprayed an Antifa member. What Rocky failed to show is the moments before that, where that Antifa member came over and took his signs and ripped them up. And there was a number of assaults that happened prior to, say, 9/15 when I started streaming. And then while I was there, they assaulted a preacher in a black t-shirt, which led then to them coming after me, because at that point I had pushed in too close to show this assault that was happening, and they turned their efforts on me.
Okay.
So then I got assaulted. I went and got myself cleaned up, came back out on the street. Well, while I was getting myself cleaned up and pepper spray off me, that's when the person hit Rocky over the back. That's when the preacher in white was assaulted. That's when the preacher in blue was assaulted. That's when the nun in yellow was assaulted. There was that whole violent interaction. And by this point, what had happened was LAPD had 2 units that were out there monitoring the situation at 9 o'clock in the morning.
Why was the LAPD not involved? In every video I've seen, I didn't see a single police member of the police department involved in any way.
You will see in some of the videos, there's one unit that actually rolls by on Wilshire Boulevard that I don't know if they see the assault or not, but they're clearly seeing the group that's out there and the confrontations that are going on. I believe that the LAPD didn't take the threat seriously, and they also had the bomb unit that exploded earlier in the week. So they had resources, from what LAPD tells me. They had a massive number of resources over there, keeping that secure and what's going on over there. And then also, too, is the defund the police has cut back on their units. They didn't have the manpower to send resources in larger volume to cover the WiSpa. And frankly, they just didn't take it seriously. So what I've been told is that it was an officer help call that got the response that it did. And in fact, the commanding officer from Rampart Station ended up having to go out in the field and was down on the streets that day.
Okay.
And in the video where the preachers walk up to the officers, from what I've been told, that's when those were Central Division officers that arrived on scene to coordinate and start doing whatever they were going to do.
Right.
And that's when the preachers ran up to them saying, "Hey, we want to file reports. This is what happened." And they're like, "Yeah, we just got here. We're trying to coordinate and get out there." And that's when they started setting up a line. They had other officers that came in on the opposite end. And they, even at that point, didn't have the resources to properly cover what was happening. And that's why protesters got around. And there was still even assaults happening in front of the officers as they were trying to build lines that you see in Armin Rez's video.
Well, I saw one where, a guy with a like a rosary, like he smacked somebody and he got arrested immediately.
Yeah. So timeline-wise, that happens after the blue T-shirt preachers. So that's a group of preachers, street preachers that show up, and they were there protesting as well.
Right, and we have
there was a number of groups.
And we have those in Seattle too. I mean, there was a street preacher in Seattle that was attacked every time he came out. Every time he was in Portland, he was assaulted. And I mean, a lot of times, and I just say you got to read the room, man. Like you know kind of what you're walking into, so you got to just kind of let it be known. But hey, man. Well, hey, I don't want to. I was trying not to go too long on the video tonight because,
Sure.
But I appreciate you shoot me your number and let me give you a call. Taking the time to talk. I hope you're safe out there, man. Like, if you gotta, but I hope it doesn't deter you from doing what you do. You know what I mean? The fact that people have an issue. Again, I always remind people that your issues are your issues, not my issues. And I'm going to do what I do, but it doesn't give you the right to put your hands on me. God forbid I put mine on you because it's not going to go good for anybody. So I hope you do well, man, and I wish you the best. And I hope that, like I said, you can keep your head down and your hands up. You know what I mean?
Yep. It's not going to stop us, but yep, we're out there telling the truth and showing what's going on, and that's all we can do. So,
well, again,
we'll see you out there tomorrow.
Yeah, man. Thank you again for taking the call, and Chris, we'll talk to you soon. Okay.
All right. Take it. Bye.
Enjoy. So yeah, that was cool. The WYSIWYG, and I, what that stands for is what you see is what you get. Clever acronym there. So it's interesting. It's interesting why people were attacked, and man, but it's ridiculous that people are being attacked in the street just for being there, and I'm not okay with that. I'm going to show this video here, and then we're going to go ahead and move towards the direction of rapping because, like I said, I don't want to be in here all night because we have probably a long day tomorrow. But again, I'd ask you guys to share the stream, and any support you're able to do, pop over and become a supporter on Facebook, guys. It means the world. It really does make a huge difference. And it helps me do what I do and gets me to where I'm going. So if you're able to make that happen, thank you very much. And everything up to and including DJ Tesseract, thank you for the bits over on Twitch. Share the stream. Share it out, guys. So, again, there's going to be personal views and opinions as to what happened and why it happened. Those are your opinions. Doesn't make you right. Doesn't make you wrong. Just means that you're allowed to have your own opinion. And you should always be entitled to that without being attacked. So unless you're a raging piece of garbage and just spitting vile and hatred, then then you should shut your mouth. Or in the case you're just mildly annoying, like my good friend Steve Phillips, who, maybe then know your role. I was playing. But while I'm in the mid here, I want to thank everyone for jumping in, my mods for me. And so, Allie, sit tight. We're about to watch that right now. So Allie here on YouTube says, does anyone know, was it in fact a patriot that stabbed a patriot? We're going to watch that video right now. And it's really well done, the way it's broken down. And the frame by frame is really fantastic. So, we'll let you guys watch this. Now, keep in mind the way that this is identified is see right here is protesters are in the yellow circles, and the protesters are the ones that are there protesting against WiSpa. They're angry that WiSpa is allowing people, transgender individuals, into these restrooms or the changing rooms. In the entirety of the female side of things. Okay. Now, the counter protesters, as it's mentioned in this forensic breakdown, it's the best way to describe it, are the ones that are protesting against the protesters. Okay, so I'm going to shut up and just show you guys what this is and what's going on here. So, like it says there, you see where this guy gets smacked up right there. And I'm not sure if there's no volume in this right now. So this is where the counter protest. So people that were, like I said, they see this fight breaking out, and they haul ass over there to try to jump in and help out, right? So this is where you see. You can watch it, guys. I'll pause on those moments there. So boom. So protester number 4 strikes counter protesters number 1 and 3. Now, again, we'll say it again. The protesters are the ones that are protesting against WiSpa. Counter protesters are the ones that are counter protesting. So as you see here, protester number 5 has picked up a bottle. Okay, and you can read that yourself. In the background there, you can see that guy with the black hat on backwards. He's got that fuck pedo wood, which is one of the I guess it was the flyer that was put out that was for the protest there. This is important. So this guy right here, protester, the guy in all black with the green like cargo pants on here, he's got a knife in his hand, and you can see that as it says here. There's in his right hand is the knife, and the sheath is in the left hand. This is a fixed, as it says there, fixed tactical knife, which like a Bowie knife, right? Right. That being said, this is where people get stabbed. So that is. Someone asked if it was a patriot who stabbed a patriot, and I know people hate the term patriot, but we're going to say people that are protesting. We're just going to go ahead and do this because it's the easiest way to put it. People on the right. There was the right-leaning folks, left-leaning folks, and let's just not split hairs on this, guys. I don't want to get crazy about it. That's just what it was. This guy with the knife, we're going to call him, for all intent and purpose, one of the patriots. And I'm sorry if you're a patriot and that makes you angry, but this is just what it is. So let's just keep on crushing it here. So this is stuff that we'd seen happen already. Now, what's interesting to keep in mind is one of these guys, I'm pretty sure that guy with the pashmina that's just swinging on the guy over there on the ground on the right over here. I don't know if you can see that. Is the same one that hit Rocky Romano, the journalist, the guy in the press from behind with that club. So I mean, it's just violence everywhere, man. This is where the guy with the knife goes running in. You see him on the left side of the screen right there, hauling ass in there. So now, and I wish there was sound on this. I'm not sure why there's not, but or maybe you guys are hearing sound that I'm not. Oh, you are hearing sound. Okay, I just don't have my headphones on. My bad, y'all. I'm gonna put those back on here so you can hear it, or I can hear it and you can see it. So let's do that. And here we go. So this guy in the brown hat is a protester. The guy in the black hat with the glasses on is also a protester. And the protester just punched another protester in this one. This is where the dude with the knife comes in. Now he's swinging on one of the other protesters. So mind you, all three of these guys right here are protesting. They're all in the same group. But in the melee, the fracas, they're attacking each other. And you can see the knife very clearly right there. I hope this is as clear on your screen as it is on mine. So this is where this guy in the blue gets in because he ends up getting the business. But as it says here, he attempts to strike protester number 5, the one with the practical. So you just watch and see here. Left white shoe of the counter protester. So as it says there, the guy with the knife, he dropped his sheathed knife, right? But as he goes in to pick it up, that's when things get stabby, dicey, if you will, just to play into it. No better term for that one there. And you see that guy he's spraying pepper spray right there, right? Like he's just hosing everybody down. Protester, counter protester alike. Now, if you look at this picture right here, it's confusing as hell, guys. Like it's super confusing as you look at it to know who's who. Normally you've got black bloc, and then you've got people wearing red, white, and blue, or whatever, magenta, right? There's always like this other side. This is just crazy. You've already seen 3 people from the same group that were there protesting on the same side of the line attack each other, right? One with a knife. And that comes into play here again, which is fucking nuts to me, guys. Like, if you're going to throw them around, at least know who you're swinging at. You know, as Rage Against the Machine said, know your enemy, right? Not that these all should be exactly Kelly Elizabeth. Who's who? Mind you, protesters are the ones that were there angry at WiSpa for a transgender individual being inside the women's locker room. Counter protesters have been identified as like Antifa and people in black bloc, okay? So counter protesters, black bloc, protesters have been ID'd as patriots, people that are angry at transgender individuals or for being in the locker room. Or they're angry at WiSpa, not transgender people. They're angry at WiSpa for allowing transgender individuals into gender-specific restrooms, changing rooms. I'm going to get rid of me and let y'all see this. And keep it going. So this guy's getting, and that cone gets thrown around. So you can't tell if this guy's like, he's holding him down or standing himself up. It's tough to tell, but you're getting a hand on the head, getting shoved down here, or pushing yourself up, you know. So this is the person in the white sleeves here that you see. That and Ali, just so you know, it's because the earlier part, if you watch all the videos, you see the line, the form, like the formation of the lines, if you will. Ali was asking, how do you know if the person is a patriot and this person's a patriot? I can't break that all down again. But if you watch the full spectrum of it, and again, there's hours of different angles, you'll see the line, right? These folks on this side, these folks on this side. That's just all there is to it. So that's just, and they were on the same side of the line over here. And at one point, even different sides of the street. So, and there are different angles on, and they'll follow me on this, guys. There's more here. So just stay with me, baby birds. I'm going to keep doing my best to feed you here. So here we go. This is where the initial stabbings take place, all right? And you'll see, like I says, twice in the lower calf and once in the inner right thigh with a tactical knife. And he's on the ground, mind you. So you see it right there, going stabby, stabby, cut, cut. Again, it's just, like I said, it's an all-out fight right here, right? So this is, if you watch where the lower circle here, this is where the protester, the woman in the white sleeves, is with the protest, and the guy with the knife is also part of the protest, the protesters, as it says here. She tries to pull him out, and right there, this is where she gets stabbed. It's not too bad, so luckily it didn't go straight through her arm. And here's another angle for those that were talking about it, so you can see it from that angle. This dude looks like Shia LaBeouf. I'm sorry, but tell me he doesn't look just like Shia LaBeouf. And he's like, I thought this was an art installation. I thought this was going to be interesting. I'm out of here. F this. I thought it was going to be fucking cool. He's calling his agent right there, and he's like, you guys put me in the wrong crowd. I don't want to be a part of this anymore. This is terrible. 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 But if you don't think that doesn't look like Shia LaBeouf, however you want to say it, then you're wrong, because I think it might be. Hashtag Shia LaBeouf, what's up? Hit me up. Amy, I do, actually. Well, Amy, I'm sorry if you don't feel it. Again, you guys, if you don't like what's happening here, this breakdown, feel free to watch whatever footage you want from any different angle you want. This is the most comprehensive one that I've seen from different angles, with the most like unpixelated and spot on zoomed in view as to what's happening. And there's other shit going on, guys. I'm not going to say that that's not true. There's definitely other fights that are taking place. People getting punched over here, people getting punched over there. This guy getting kicked there. This is what's happening in this part of it. I can't give you a replay of the whole world, and normally I don't even do replays. So, feel free, if you got that information, shoot in a link as to who's got the better view. Anyway, so appreciate those that are getting the thumbs up. But who told who was on each side? You have to watch, Amy. Again, I can't feed into that too much. Amy, if you haven't figured out that like these have been identified, somebody took the time to do this in great detail, taking the time to do the research to figure out, as they mined through all this data, this footage, who's on who's and what side. Okay, that's just how it is. And who knows, man? Maybe there's double agents, right? What if there's people in here that are actually, and then they do this? Who knows, right? I've been accused of being a double agent, and I was like, I don't even have a first agent to be a double agent for. So, whatever. I'm going to shut up, and we're going to keep watching this. So stop asking me questions about it. CPB, I don't know who that is. Yeah, there you go. Watch CPB's video. Feel free. Shia LaBeouf. So take a second there. After angle 1, after protester 6, strikes protester 8 in the right arm with tactical knife. And that's the woman with the sleeve, the white sleeve. That's the dude that originally, like you said earlier, grabbed a bottle, if you remember, and threw it at folks on the other side of the street. Also punched one of the guys that was also in the protest with him, and then got punched by the other guy in the protest with him. Denise, I said Patriot because, like I said, I can't go this again. Because I'm not going to fight on who's what side. It's so we can identify two sides. Protester, counter-protester. There you go. So this dude's pulling out another knife. So this isn't the first person who was stabbing the guy in the leg. This is another person now pulling out the guy with the hat, that hat, the thing. He's the dude. He's got another knife out. So let me see. LIQ1 Dater 1967. I don't know what you mean by that. It's bad. Okay. Anyway, I'm going to keep going here. So again, here's the back angle of that same guy pulling the knife. And that's a sheath from the other guy's knife. But it's hard to tell, right? Like you can't tell who's who. Now, granted, those are familiar faces. People know each other's now. Something I want to make very clear here, guys, is that these guys out in this crowd, a lot of these people know each other. Uh, and I, I didn't make this video, nor can I take credit for it. But the folks who did, man, mad props for taking the time to make this super badass, comprehensive breakdown of what happened, and taking the time to actually do the research to figure out who's who and who's what. And yeah, and if you want to see more, you guys, Ruth Marie, other people, Black Conservative Preacher was there, WYSIWYG was there. There's other people that were there that have different camera angles. I've always and will always and continue to always continue to encourage you find different resources. I'm not saying anyone's one thing. I'm saying what I'm seeing right here, and it's the best way to describe it so people can understand it, because that's how people are identifying. And this is all about identification. You know what I mean? Yeah. But you're right. It looks like this is all devolving, right? Someone says right here, it says, it looks like we're the rest of our country devolving back to the old West way of handling things. Attack first, ask questions later. Yeah, and it's terrible, you know? It's terrible. It's terrible that people aren't able to get out there and protest, you know, have peaceful protests, that you get people getting attacked for any reason. It is what's happening, though. So there's a lot to look at, though. There's a lot to break down here. So the Brittany, you got to look at. There's multiple sources that go into this video. This is not one video. This is multiple video angles. So feel free to put in the comments here links to anybody else that has videos. I don't care who they are. Anybody that's got a video link or a web presence of any kind where people can go and view other angles or other videos, drop them in here. Go ahead, take this opportunity to go ahead and blast them off. But we're going to keep watching this video here because it is pretty interesting. So I'm going to disappear and let this do what it's here to do. So.
Holy shit.
When you here also interesting, you guys did see the police are just posted across the street while this is happening, which blows my mind. You do see the policeman right there watching this all happen, and that to me is so frustrating. You know, I'd say what, guys, I'll reach out to folks where I got this video, and I'll see if I can't just post this video and make it available to you. But I'll find out about that here as we're watching this. Like right there, you see the police are right. The guy on the far left, you look at the far left, guys. This blows my mind. You look right over there behind the guy on the far left with the suit jacket on. There's a police officer right there holding a weapon of some kind. Maybe it's a less lethal, maybe or non-lethal, whatever it might be. But they're right there watching this happen. And I don't know if they're angry because they got defunded, whatever it is, but there is no effort happening by the police to involve in this. Like, it's almost like saying, hey, you guys want to fight, go ahead and fight it out. You know what I mean? Which we've seen time and time again, man. And if they want to stay out of things, anyone going into these things, appreciate that piece of information. When you go into it, don't expect the police to jump in and save your ass, because for what you're seeing right now, that ain't going to happen, man. So if you want to avoid violence, man, avoid violent shit. That's all I can tell you guys. And try to avoid doing violent things yourself, because I'm going to tell you right now, that shit will come full circle. And it feeds into the world some shit that we don't need. We definitely don't need that in any way, shape, or form. We don't need an abundance of violence out here anymore. So let's keep watching this unfold here as it is broken down for us. Now, people, I'm going to keep pausing. I don't care, whatever. People keep asking, how do you know who's who? How do you know if they're a patriot? How do you know if they're a patriot on the right, on the left, whatever it is? Protester, counter-protester. The lines form themselves before and after these melees, right? Like they get together and clash it up, and then people go back to their own side. There's people that are not involved in the actual clashes that are kind of holding fort, like the control tents, if you will. If you think about medieval warfare, right? You got guys in the field down here smashing it up. You got a king over here and a king over here, and they're staying in their tents, right? Think about it from that same angle, right? You've got people that are, and I have another streamer here that maybe I can talk to in a second, Jeremy. I'll get to you in just a moment, man. But they go back to their corners, so to speak, right? Think about it in boxing as well. You got your corner, cage even, blue and red. Go back to your corner. Then it's really easy to see who's who. And granted, you're looking at one angle here. There's probably 7 or 8 different angles you can look at this from. That being said, give me just a minute, bud. That being said, when it comes down to it, that's how you can reverse engineer this and look at it from the back to the front. And that's where I'm sure the person who made this video, mad props to them for putting the time and effort into making this such a badass video, because they took the time to look at all that. So, but yeah, now you can tell that people are picking their sides, right? You know where they're at. So let's do this, boom, and Yahtzee. I'm gonna shut up. Now let's watch the rest of it.
Pedophile is not a sexual orientation. Why are you defending pedophiles? Why do you defend pedophilia? Why do you defend...
That's a hell of a catch right there.
Exposing their genitals to underage children. Why are you defending pedophiles?
So there you see, there's the line, guys. For those that are wondering who's on whose side, there's people like on the guy in the backpack here that are holding the camera, standing there, and there's people on the right that are in the middle of it, and people on the left that are in the middle of it. So there you go. Now you know who's on what side. The way it's been identified in this video is protesters, and those are the ones that are on the left, like the guy, Mega Man there, who's got like the Mega, I think it says Mega Man on it, actually, I think. That white tank top, red hat, the woman in the white tank top, red shoes. On the left, those are the protesters. People on the right, counter-protesters.
Yeah, bro, y'all like to hit girls, bro. Y'all like to hit women. What are you going to do?
Pedophile is not a sexual orientation.
There you go. And then the LAPD break up the altercation. They finally step in when people have kind of, man, it's after they've kind of, I guess, like gassed themselves out, right? Like the police step in. Basically, it's like a hockey fight, right? At this point, you've got 2 guys that they've thrown their gloves off, and they're like, go time. They smash it up, and the second they hit the ground, the refs jump in and dogpile them. All right, cool, now we're done. Break it up. And I can tell you, even in that, man, that's a dangerous move, because I've seen it multiple times where people have been stabbed, and you guys all know what happened in Kenosha, where people were shot. I saw people get stabbed in Portland, where protesters turned on another protester for stabbing someone who had kind of accosted him, and they all just attacked because they heard he stabbed somebody. There was no research done. They didn't do any more they didn't check in it. And they attacked him and tried to kill him. I mean, literally, they're trying to murder this guy. And I didn't care what the backstory was. I just didn't want to see someone get murdered. And so at that point, I'll post that video at some point here, guys. I had to jump in and pick this guy up and kind of cover him. The tear gas was coming in. Me and this other fella had to drag this guy by his overalls, through the tear gas, just drop him by the police and the feds. But yo, he just stabbed somebody. We don't know the backstory, but if we don't do this, that group of 50 people are going to stomp him to death. And they were doing their best. I mean, broke his helmet in half. His goggles were broke. His fingers were broken. I mean, his face was split open. He was just a bloody mess. But while he was being attacked by this crowd, he was still holding a knife, swinging on people, and people were getting cut and stabbed. And so no matter what your view or stance is in this, guys, when violence is taking place, do your best to pull people away from it, and you yourself step out of it, or you get caught. I personally have been stabbed in 2 situations. The first one, not as bad. The second one, very bad. I got 4 stab wounds to the liver with a steak knife, and I mentioned it before, but 32 staples later and a near death, very, 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 very near death experience. I can tell you right now that that shit's no joke, man. People will die, and it doesn't take much to take a human life, which draws me to what I'm trying to make a point here. If there is going to be a protest, guys, protest. Exercise your rights. There's no need to look past the fact that it is your constitutional, God-given right to open your mouth. That's something that no one can take away from you. No one should ever feel the right or the entitlement to take away your voice. That's never. And I don't care what you're saying, be it hate-filled or otherwise. It's your right to say it. You might find yourself building a case against you of people that really dislike you because of the things you say. But again, it doesn't mean you're not allowed to say it. Feel free. Just know that in the room you're speaking in, you might get caught with some adverse reactions. Now, but in all of this, guys, I can only push and hope that people will err in the direction of nonviolent encounters. But things are sadly not teaming up to go that route. And so many, and we keep seeing it. We keep seeing it, and I'll post I posted something on my Twitter, which is ridiculous. Guys, I'm so bad at technology. I can't even believe I understand how to even operate a Twitter account. Anyone out here who is super social media savvy, and you want to go ahead and help be a social media manager, CJTV, hit me up, email me. Right here, CJ@cjtv.live. Really would love to hear your input and how we can better manage all this. But don't be violent, man. Like don't go out there with the intent of hurting somebody else. Don't be out there with the fundamental belief that it's your right to put your hands on another human being, because it's not at all. It's not. Don't put your hands on me. I won't put my hands on you. That's a rule of thumb, man. Just leave it at that. Don't spit on people. Don't kick people. Don't slap people. Don't hit people with parking cones or water bottles, man. Just, share your words. And if you need to do it angrily, go ahead, man. But fucking relax, people. The violence isn't going to get us anywhere we need to get when we try to get understanding. And appreciate where you're fighting, man. These people are out fighting in the streets about this WiSpa situation. And granted, appreciate what protests are about. It's about raising awareness, okay? So whatever side you're on, I hope you're aware of the fact that when you're out doing what you do, you're doing it so that other people will understand better why you're there doing it, okay? Right or left. So stop trying to close the circuits of communication like what's happening in Cuba right now and shut down the information spread. That's not acceptable, man. What you're doing is killing the growth of understanding and of knowledge. And that is some real dictatory type shit. And I'm speaking to people that would expressly say, we're not going to allow you to view what we're doing. Don't do that. Don't do it, man. I'll bring a microphone with me everywhere I go, guys. Everywhere I go, I got my mic with me. I don't even need to see your face, but I'd love to hear what you have to say. I would love to hear what you think and what you feel. I don't give a damn what it is, but I'd love to hear it. And I'm not made by what you have to say. It's not me. It's not me defining you by asking you questions and seeking to understand you, nor do you make me who I am by feeling the way you do. Okay? So if you see me out in the streets, just know I'm not your enemy. I'm not out here to fight you. I'm not out here to jam you up in any way, shape, or form. I just want to better understand you. And I hope that everyone that's out there doing what they're doing can be in that same mindset. I mean, get out there and seek to understand, ask questions, stay curious, but stay understanding. You know what I mean? Because all too often people have shut down their thought process when it comes to like allowing other people's views to even come into their spectrum. And man, it is just fucking nuts, man. So let's think about where things are happening, like Cuba right now, which is happening right here. This SOS Cuba. There should the information, much like what happens in Burma. I mean, places where is that the world we want to live in, where people are able to do things behind a secretive, a clandestine wall of secrecy? Not my world, not the world I live in, not the world I'd like to be in. Because if you're out there protesting, I'd like to know what you're there for. If something's happening, I would encourage every single person to turn on a camera. Grab your phone, man. There's room in the world for everybody to stream it away. Turn it on. Let the world see what's going on. And through your lens, that's fine. And if you guys don't like what's being said, you don't like the comments, turn them off, man. Swipe left, swipe right, whichever way you need to go. Or hit mute and swipe, and then just watch it and formulate your own opinions. It doesn't need to be someone's absolute in what they say, their word isn't gospel. Just be very clear about that. My word, definitely not gospel. Because, guys, I have, like I said before, a million and one more questions than I have answers. And if you're taking your cues on life from me or anyone else like me, then sorry, but you've got some issues. More than me, probably. So all that being said, man, I hope you guys will support what I'm doing here through any of the many ways that there are. And I'm at a point now where I need everyone to be on board with what's going on right now. That being said, we've got the supporters available over on Facebook, and we've also got direct contributions that can come in. Feel free to email me if you have any story ideas or anybody that you feel would be interesting to talk to. And you have their contact info. Just to be clear, if you feel like there's a story that you'd like me to cover, it's crowdfunded, guys. So it's funded by you, the viewer. If you're able to make that happen, I'll be on it, and I'll do my best to get around as best I can. And if you have contact information for anybody that you feel would be an interesting story, reach out, hit me up, email me right here at cj@cjtv.live with contact information. I'm talking phone numbers, email addresses, whatever that might be, but something more than just a name, because I can't honestly, guys, scroll through all the different just names because there's a lot out there. So I'll be out in these streets, guys, and if you see me out there, just know I'm a friend before I'm a foe, and I'd love to keep it that way. So shake your hand, introduce yourself, say hi, and appreciate that I'm going to do the same. And my goal while I'm out here is to understand better what's happening and to view it for myself and to better gain a grasp on how I feel about things. So I love you guys. Seriously, I appreciate everyone in the stream that's out here and that's watching and being a part of this. If you're sharing the stream, thank you so much. That means a lot because that's a big part of what helps grow this network of the CJTV world that we're in right now. So it'll be an early day tomorrow, guys. So set up notifications on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and Periscope or Twitter. Make sure you have when you set up notifications, guys, set up all. You have to go in there and do that. Make sure to specify. You can put !! notify, I believe, and anyone in the comments can put those up for how to better set up notifications in any one of the platforms that we're on, because it does come down to the platform. But make sure when you set up that bell that you go to all on YouTube and otherwise. So I appreciate you guys for riding with me today. And let's just all put our prayers out and hope that tomorrow's nonviolent and people are able to share their opinions, and maybe we'll all learn something. So love you guys. Love yourself and love someone else. Catch y'all soon. Peace.